Greetings, distinguished audiences, and welcome to TVR Parliament. This is the special report of the 44th General Assembly of the Asian Inter-Parliamentary Assembly here in Jakarta, Indonesia from August 5 to 11, 2023. I'm Zilva, Boaz, your today's host. It is an absolute honor to have with us today Mr. NIKOLOZ Samkharadze, the Chair of the Foreign Relations Committee of Georgia. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much. Very good.
Thank you for coming. We do appreciate your time. Is it your first time come to visit Jakarta?
Yes, it is my first time in Indonesia.
Wow, great. So how do you find Indonesia, especially Jakarta?
Well, it's a few hours that I have arrived, so I just saw the major areas, the downtown and then the mosque and then the cathedral, and it's a great city, and I've heard that the country is even more beautiful, the countryside with its islands, with the beautiful nature. So I'm looking forward to spending the next few days in Jakarta and enjoy the hospitality of the Indonesian people.
Great. Do you experience also the traffic jam here?
Not really. I mean, today was more or less free.
Okay, great then. So you know that the topic that we bring in this the 44th AIPA is responsive parliament for a sustained and prosperous ASEAN countries. So what do you expect actually from attending this event as an observer?
This is the first assembly that Georgia attends as an observer, because we received the observer status in AIPA last year. And of course, for us it is important to share our experience with our partners in Southeast Asia. Especially Indonesia is a very important partner for Georgia. We have already a very good history of sharing experiences with each other. As far as I know, Indonesia has greatly benefited from the Georgian experience of establishing one-stop shop principle for citizen services. And I think we can learn a lot from each other, and I'm looking forward to interesting discussions about the role of parliaments, about the developments in our region, in this region, and what are the similarities, what are the problems that we face in representative democracy. And I'm happy that so many delegations are here in Jakarta, so I'm looking forward to a very fruitful exchange.
Wow, nice. I believe you will all learn a lot by attending this event. So, sir, how do you see ASEAN countries as a solid cooperation?
Well, this is one of the most, I would say, active and developing regions in the world. Not only from the economic point of view, but also from the political point of view. The countries in Southeast Asia are playing more active role in the global politics. And also these countries have enormous potential to develop further. Indonesia is one of the most populous countries in the world, so I believe that it has also a very good human resources to develop not only the country but also the region in general. So for us, for Georgia, this is a priority region, and that's why we decided that we wanted to be an observer in this organization. And I hope that this first encounter will be very productive, and I'm looking forward to future cooperation with all the Southeast Asian countries, members of AIPA.
All right, thank you, sir. And you notice that Indonesia is currently taking a role as the leader of ASEAN countries. Mm-hmm. How do you see our leadership?
Being a leader of the ASEAN countries is of course a big responsibility, and we see that the whole town is full of ASEAN emblems and symbols, and I understand that Indonesian leadership is attaching a great importance to this role. And in general, Indonesia is a leader of the region, and therefore I think that it is very good that our membership, our observer status falls within the chairmanship of Indonesia as the head of or the chair of the ASEAN. And I believe the government will do its utmost to gain to attain the goals that ASEAN has outlined for this year. We will have, of course, bilateral meetings with the Indonesian delegation, and I'm looking forward to learn more about the achievements of an Indonesian chairmanship for ASEAN.
Thank you, sir. And you're talking about the bilateral relationship between Georgia and Indonesia. What things you would like to strengthen up in the near future?
There are many dimensions that we can cooperate. First, I have to point out that we have excellent political relations between the two countries. But there is room and there is potential for developing trade, economy, cultural exchange, educational exchange. As I mentioned, there is also already a very good experience of sharing our practices of citizen services with Indonesia. There could be more that we could share with each other, but I think at this time the particular focus will be on economy, on trade, culture and education. Those are the areas where we can cooperate more closely and where we can benefit from each other.
From each other, right. So you're talking about the economic cooperation as well as the exchange, the education and culture exchange. Could you be more specific on that?
Yes, Georgia is an open economy, and Georgia is one of the most, I would say, lucrative or most easy taxation system, so which makes it very easy for other investors to invest in Georgia. And in the ease of doing business, in the ranking of the World Bank, we are number 6 in the world. So that's a very good achievement. Also, we can think about deepening trade, or even about making trade more accessible, moving towards free trade agreement, because there are lots of products that could be exported from Georgia to Indonesia and from Indonesia to Georgia. Mainly those could be agricultural products, could be also beverages, fish and other products, maritime products, and vice versa. When it comes to educational exchange, we also believe that there is not much knowledge about our region in Indonesia, and there's not much knowledge about your region in Georgia. So we could think of exchanging not only students but also professors who could come and talk and teach students here or in Georgia about the peculiarities of the region, about the experience of the region, and of course, in order to make our relations more I would say active, there needs to be a cultural exchange. And to make people aware about each other's culture. Indonesia has a very rich culture. Same goes for Georgia. So I think here, be it music, be it folklore, be it other part or other directions of culture, we can really have a very fruitful cooperation. So I think those are the areas which we can focus more at this stage, but obviously there are other areas that we can work on in the future as well.
Yes, that's definitely. I'm really happy to listen to your answers, sir. And you're mentioning this is your first time visit Indonesia, right? And do you have any other plan to visit other places in Indonesia, because we have so many things to offer?
Not this time, unfortunately, because this time is an official visit, and it's very difficult to combine official visit with leisure. But definitely, I plan to come back with my family to visit some of the beautiful places in other parts of Indonesia.
Yes, we are more than happy to welcome you again, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the guest speaker, Mr. NIKOLOZ SAMKHARADZE, the chair of the Foreign Relations Committee of Georgia. I'm Zilva, Boaz, saying goodbye, and stay tuned in TVR Parliament for more updates on the 44th of AIPA.